Hi guys, Gijoe here. Welcome back to my bunker here in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to my first video in my Operation Tisch series. If you don't know what the word Tisch means, it's the German word for table. And as I promised several months ago, I had plans to build a customized table for my Global 40 map here. And I wanted to catalog that and share it with you guys. I intended to get started on this process a lot earlier, but of course had some setbacks with some house repair, some car repair and such, and of course the holidays and all the money that goes along with that. So I wasn't financially at the point to start building my table. But I used that time to really research and come up with some ideas on what I want to incorporate into my customized table. And I spent a lot of time watching videos and checking the internet, looking at some pictures, and trying to come up with some maybe hybrid versions of some other people's different ideas, and also incorporate some things that maybe had been in the back of my mind. So I don't have my exact final measurements yet. I'm pretty close, but I've been communicating with my friend at work who's going to help me build this. And so I've kind of come up with a scale mock-up. Well, actually not a scale mock-up, but just a mock-up. And I wanted to share my final ideas with you guys, my community, because I'm getting ready to start building here. And I thought I'd share it with you and, give the opportunity. Feel free to comment below in the comment box below and let me know your thoughts. And of course, if you have any ideas to maybe how to make this thing work even smoother or what have you, because I'm definitely not, I'm not really good at the whole building thing necessarily. I'm kind of more creative as opposed to the hands-on builder, so I have to kind of take my ideas and go to somebody else who's able to help put my ideas into a tangible product. So at this time, let's go and take a look at my mock-up and give you some ideas on what I would like my table to look like at the end, okay? Okay guys, I thought first of all that I would show you my current gaming table, if you can call it that. As you can see, I have my Grasshopper customized map that I had printed. Of course, it's the one with the ghost boxes for his house rules right down here. And this is the size, 72 by 33, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And what I did was I just put it on a piece of insulation, some foam that I got at Home Depot. And actually, I was using this foam for some model railroading that I kind of got into about 5 years ago with my dad. And I had an extra piece, so this was the largest thing I had to set my board on. So at first, it was just used as a temporary table. And of course, I just set the foam on a folding table here, so you can see some overhang, which won't be on there, on my customized table rather, once I've completed it. But after playing on this for a while, and as I started developing my ideas for my custom table, I got a pretty good idea for how to incorporate some of this foam into my custom table. So let's go and take a look at that and how I plan on doing that, okay? All right, guys, I thought I'd show you my chicken scratch plans here. But I've been developing these over the last couple months, and so I thought I'd share this with you. So forgive the poor artwork. But as you can see, this little diagram right here is the side view of my table. If you notice, I have 3 different levels or layers. And so what I want to do is I want this first level is going to be like a 4x8 piece of plywood or what have you, masonite board, something along that lines. And it's going to be approximately 29 to 30 inches off the ground, of course, with some nice sturdy legs. And then I'm going to have a second piece of 4x8 plywood that's going to be raised off of that approximately 4 inches. And we'll have some type of columns or something here in each corner, perhaps even in the middle, to kind of keep a 4-inch gap between the two boards. And the reason is, as a lot of us probably already have, we have these trays, these gaming trays that keep all of our pieces in them, right? Nothing new. You guys all have these. And what I want to do is I want to have somewhere to store these trays on my table. So my trays are going to slide down in here. So I might have some columns every, 6 to 8 inches or so. And so my gaming trays can slide in here. because I don't want these out on top of the table. Now, on top of this top layer is going to be the surface where all of the pieces are, the chips, the dice, the tray where you can roll dice, etc. And then this raised part right here is going to be where my game board is going to be, and that's going to be using that foam. Okay, guys, what I want you to do is I want you to imagine this being not a piece of foam, but rather a 4x8 sheet of plywood, masonite, something along that lines. And again, be about 30 inches off the table. And then what I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to have some type of wood or column, something, so I can raise the second level off of that. So the second level, of course, will be like this. All right. And of course, as I see, my trays are going to slide down in here. Of course, now this is going to be 4 inches, not 1 inch or so. But these are where my trays are going to slide. Now, this is where the foam's going to come into play. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my map, my custom map, as I did here with my sample, and I am going to cut out foam, and I'm going to put, that's going to be my third layer. And what I've done here is I've taken the sample that I had printed for my print company before I had my map printed, and I went ahead and mounted it on this foam, but I'm not going to do this because, as you have, if you've seen my previous videos, you know that my gaming board, my map, is already mounted on a sheet of PVC sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the foam here, and then I'm going to make a frame around it using this, I think it's 3/4 by 1.5. So I'm going to have a frame going around it. Of course, the frame's going to be taller than my board. And then all I have to do then is just to set my PVC sheet on top. I am not going to glue it. I'm not going to permanently adhere it to this foam. I just want the foam to be here as a base to be raised off of my second level so that my gaming board can sit down on it. Then what I want to do, of course, this frame is going to go all the way around. Let me get a little bit higher here. And then I'm going to come back, and on an angle, I'm going to put a little angle all the way around, or at least on the front side and the back side where the different Axis and Allies teams will stand or sit. And the purpose for that angled kind of side or wall is so that I can take my newly printed Grasshopper Alpha and Delta decks, and this is where, for the national objectives, this is where they are going to be. So if you can see the map here, let me go up a little bit higher. So, like, you know, in this general area will probably be France. So of course this is not to scale, so please don't get confused. I will use 2-inch foam, but as you can see, I'm going to have it angled kind of like that, so that along this side here, each country can kind of see all of their national objectives laid out right there. Now down below here, this is where I'm going to have kind of little dividers and spaces to have all the trays, so I can have pieces set out here, so that you don't have to constantly go underneath to grab pieces, because I hate pulling out the tray, getting out pieces, putting the tray back. So you will have all the pieces laid out here to where you can just reach down and grab what you need, stick it on the board. If you lose, you put the pieces back in here. Of course, on this end, I'm going to have my rolling dice tray where you can roll dice. I'm going to have a bank. Of course, I'm going to take my idea here of my magnetized control markers. I'm going to have these countersunk into the the frame of the board so that I can keep track of whose turn it is in the event we have a long game that goes really long, or maybe into a couple days. So that is the general synopsis of my ideas. The last thing I do want to say is, again, I have 3 levels: my base, my main level, and then my gaming level, where the actual map is. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a lid to this, because I'm down here in the basement, and this is going to be a game room eventually, and we want to be able to, you know, maybe play card games, come down here, watch TV, eat a snack, maybe let my daughter play Legos or what have you. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to put in each corner some holes and dowel rods, and I'm going to have it to where there will be a lid that goes down on top, and it slides in to the dowel holes, and I mean the dowel rods will slide into the little holes that are countersunk there. And then of course I will latch the lid down on the sides. That way, when you're not playing Axis and Allies and the table is covered, it looks just like a table, so that you can eat on it, you can play other games, board games, Legos, card games, what have you. And then when it's time for Axis and Allies, you just bloop, bloop, you just unlatch it around it, you pick up the lid, and boom, you've got your game table all set up with all the pieces and everything there. So, anyways, let me know what you think down below, guys. Sorry for the crudeness of this, but like I said, I do have the measurements for the most part worked out. And I'm speaking with my friend at work to talk about the material we want to use. And he likes the idea. The biggest problem I'm having right now is I want to decide how much room I'm going to need over here and how I'm going to divide my my dividers here for trays. I've considered doing the thing kind of like Grasshopper has, where it's just an open area and you can just slide down one of those plastic trays that has everything in it. Or which would be probably easier. But if I want more of a finished look, I've considered actually putting in some little dividers and fences, so to speak, so like out of wood, really thin sheets of wood, so that it actually looks more finished like a table. And the last thing I'm thinking about doing, again, this is part of the creative process that I got to figure out a way to do this. And that is, at the base, for instance, if this was the France area right here, and this was the tray area where all the French pieces would be, I want to find some way to incorporate my other little coasters here, whether it be beneath it, or if you've considered maybe printing off the French flag on some adhesive vinyl and putting it down, and then having the walls on top of the French flag. That way, when you know, all the pieces that are in the tray, you can definitely see that that's the French area, because you'll see the French flag underneath it or something along that line. So still trying to incorporate how that's going to work. But anyways, this is kind of a really rough idea, but all my ideas are in the head, and I've just got to get into my friend and draw it up for real, or have him draw it up. So hope you enjoy. Like I said, comment below if you have any thoughts, ideas, or you know, if you're very handy with tools and such, maybe some ideas to make my concept come to life and to be a tangible product here towards the end. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope it wasn't too long, too boring, but appreciate your subscribing. And if you're interested in watching me build my table, you know, just keep an eye out for Operation Tisch series for my table build that will be happening over the several weeks and month or so. Okay? Thanks, guys. Take care.